Hello there and welcome to another Eevee TV review. I'm Eevee, obviously, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Sarah Jane Adventures, the latest spin-off from Doctor Who. Okay, basically there are a few ways a spin-off can go. One, the Torchwood way. Darker, sexier, a lot more Welsh, with bigger guns, bigger danger, and bigger continuity cock-ups. Two, the Angel way. Again, darker, different tone, but the same quality of storytelling and characterisation that we all came to know and love in Buffy, except season 4. 3, there's the Joey way. Less said about that one the better. And then there's the Sarah Jane Smith way, and she does things differently. Those of you with your finger on the Doctor Who pulse, that's me with my finger on the Doctor Who pulse, right there. Okay. Or, of course, those of you who remember it, when it actually happened, you will have heard of K9 and Company, which was the first Sarah Jane Smith spin-off, and the first spin-off of Doctor Who, in which she received her K9, obviously, and battled some witches. It wasn't well received, to put it nicely, and it's not something that's really talked about anymore, so I get the impression it's one of those things that Doctor Who would rather forget about, like the Bertie Bassett monster. Sarah Jane Adventures are very different, and I'm pleased to announce, very good. Anyway, I tuned in with my family, and we enjoyed it as a family unit. We thought it was good. Well, I thought it was good, and the others watched it, so yeah, I like to think that they enjoyed it as well. It was fast, it looked stunning, especially Sarah Jane's house and attic, and her car, which I severely covet and want to steal. And it was well written, which is always a big thing for me. If something's not well written, then I will watch it for a total of 5 minutes before feeling slightly ill. With the exception of Kelsey, the most annoying preteen I've ever had the misfortune to watch, I liked all of the characters. Of course, Sarah Jane is the same as ever, and then some, because the writers have put a lot more care and effort into making her a well-rounded character than they ever did in the 70s. It's nice to see her as an actual 3D person, rather than someone who falls down ditches and has to be towed out with a car. I also quite like her updated look, the clothes and all that, and her hair, which is just so bouncy. Where was I? Okay, other characters. There's Maria and her family. Maria, I guess, is the companion character, the one that people can identify with, especially, obviously, target audience, which I will get back to later, because it is important for understanding the show and how it works. So just bear that in mind. I can see myself, probably a little younger, playing or acting out Maria's part in the playground. Her parents are a great double act, especially her mother, whom I find hilarious, mainly for her outfits. And Maria generally is a very good way of letting the audience get to know Sarah Jane again. She's kind of our way in, which is nice. Always nice to be included. Luke. Isn't he just adorable? I'm a sucker for the social outcast. Something I'm very familiar with. Children can be so cruel. And Luke, well, he's got the whole I don't understand thing down so well. It's just great. I love that they gave Sarah Jane a family, and giving her an adopted son, it's a really good way of doing that. Luke and Sarah Jane both go through a kind of learning curve, really, because they're both learning how to be part of a world that they're a little bit distant from. So that's nice to see. Very good parallels that I can draw there in a very geeky, nerdy way. Clyde, again, is a great character, and I think the best actor out of the child actors anyway. If only I could stop thinking of him as a mini Mickey. So, the stories. Invasion of the Bane, great runaround, very cleverly poking fun at advertising and making us all scared to drink those strange panda pop things that you get given at children's parties and slightly low-class pubs. I mean, not that anyone wants to drink them anyway. It was a nice introduction to Sarah's life without the Doctor, and there were all sorts of little nods to the classic series, and a little nod to Torchwood as well. I liked that. And of course, it was lovely to see K9. You'd have to have a heart of stone not to like K9. It's just a shame there isn't more of him, although I'll admit he does sometimes get in the way a little bit. So maybe it's best he just kind of stays locked in his cupboard with the black hole, or whatever the hell he's doing in that cupboard. I didn't really get that. Then we have The Revenge of the Slitheen. Well, like a complete and utter knob, I managed to miss the first episode of the proper series, which was the first episode of this story, because of my clever use of the record function on my Digibox. Failed utterly at that. But thankfully it wasn't really that difficult to catch up when I finally got the second episode, when I got the record working. I wasn't really that impressed because I'm not a huge fan of the Slitheen, to be honest. They definitely could have opened the series with a stronger story and a less gimmicky alien. Such as the Gorgon. Now, I liked that story, and I liked that villain. Scary nuns are a cliche but a classic, and all the scenes with Bee in the nursing home touched particularly close to home for me, because my great nana, who was 102 in July, lives in a nursing home, so well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm quite familiar with the kind of atmosphere of homes.